by Randy Walker, a tennis publisher. The most impressive part of the new Miami Open at Hard Rock Stadium may be its expanded tennis campus. This magnificently manicured and designed layout features not just restaurants, bars and places to lounge, but, in all, 29 tennis courts. While the center court stadium inside the stadium will be disassembled after the tournament to make way for the NFL's Dolphins, the University of Miami football team and other sports and music events, the outer courts, including a 5,100-seat grandstand, a 3,000-seat Court 1 and a 1,500-seat Court 2, will be permanent. This brings up the question, what other events could be held on site when the Miami Open is not being held? Also, what other ancillary events could be held leading into the Miami Open or in the waning days of the event when there are fewer matches held on site? The tennis campus could certainly host the NCAA Tennis Championships one day, with the University of Miami serving as the host institution. There are 2 sets of 8 courts, consecutive courts, used for practice for the Miami Open, that could serve perfectly for college dual matches that require 6 side-by-side courts for 6 singles matches. 2 dual matches could be played simultaneously, while a slew of other courts on the campus could be used for other teams and players to practice. The one drawback is that there are no indoor courts in case of rain, but there are so many courts that make-up matches could be done simultaneously to get a tournament back on schedule. While hosting the NCAA Tennis Championships would be a few and far between opportunity, the campus hosting college tennis matches on an annual basis is something that can easily be done. Every spring, college tennis teams from northern states are always playing matches in warmer environments down south during spring break trips, usually in early March. Taking a page from what the Indian Wells Tennis Garden does leading into the BNP Paribas Open in California, lead-up events can be held at the Hard Rock Stadium tennis campus. In Indian Wells, in the weeks leading up the BNP Paribas Open, the site hosts wildcard tournaments to earn entry into the qualifying rounds of the Big Show, followed by a men's and women's challenger-level event that leads into the BNP Paribas Open qualifying rounds. While there seems to be a well-run and perfect geographically placed challenger in Phoenix during the second week of Indian Wells, to accommodate ATP players losing early in Indian Wells, there is not a women's challenger in the USA during this week, which could be an opportunity for the Miami Open to hold one on site leading into the qualifying rounds. While the first weekend of the Miami Open features a flurry of action on all the outer courts, the second week leaves many of the courts unused. Some sorts of content should be placed on those courts to provide supplemental entertainment for fans on site and perhaps to add a few days of grounds pass sales, and to increase on-site food, beverage and retail sale opportunities. At the U.S. Open in the past, a college invitational was hosted as well as junior, senior and wheelchair events. While the prestigious Easter Bowl Junior Championship are held at the same time as the Miami Open, perhaps the site could host another event for up-and-coming players, a ITF World Tennis Tour Futures Pro event. This would only need 4 competition courts, and 3 or 4 practice courts, and provide high-level matches on the outer courts from the Monday to Sunday of the second week. As a tournament director for a similar and highly successful event just up the road in Vero Beach, Florida, I think this would be a great idea. A wheelchair event is also a possibility. Since South Florida is hub for retired seniors, perhaps an ITF or USTA senior event may also be something to consider. What could be a better promotion for senior tennis, and tennis as its sport of lifetime, than to have competitive 70-something, 80-something and even 90-something players playing in competitive official USTA or ITF events on the outer courts of the Miami Open, where fans can catch a few games while finishing off a mojito or a steak sandwich from the food court. Miami Open Tournament Director James Blake is a competitor on the Invesco Series Senior Tennis Circuit, along with fellow legends John McEnroe, Jim Courier, Andy Roddick and others. Would be an excellent attraction on the grandstand court for either the final weekend or as a kickoff event. Senior event, perhaps UTR Senior event featuring lower-level former ATP and WTA players could be another option for the second week of the event, to give former players who are not able to play on Legends circuits a chance to compete in front of appreciative fans. Some other ideas including having the campus host a USTA League Tennis National Championship in the fall. On a day-to-day basis, having the campus be the home of a USTA National Junior Tennis League chapter would be another great idea to give local kids another opportunity to learn and play the game. Opening the courts up to the public for public use would seem to be a no-brainer, while also hosting clinics and other local USTA Florida section tournaments. In late April and May, perhaps Florida State High School Tennis Championships could be held on site. The potential is almost unlimited. It's going to be fascinating to see how this new remarkable tennis venue continues to evolve. Miami Open Outer Courts.